so straight off the bat, this movie is not a good time. Like, this is the cinematic equivalent of listening to nails being run down a chalkboard. I was squirming and wincing the entire time, and it wasn't because it was bloody, it wasn't because it's gory, it's because this movie is about the danger of being polite and about how you should trust your gut instinct. And the scenes where they test that they're fucking anxiety inducing. So like if you've got social anxiety too, this will fuck with you. This is a horror where most of the setup is based around conversations, so it falls smack bang into that dinner horror sort of stuff. Um, if you're a non-confrontational people pleaser, this movie is going to be a fucking rough watch for you. I mean, it's going to be a rough watch for anyone, but specifically for non-confrontational people pleasers. I do think there's some introverts out there who will get a bit of a smug sense of satisfaction when watching this movie, because like it wouldn't happen to you. Um, but yeah, this is a roughie. Speak No Evil centres on Danish family Bjorn, Louise, and Agnes as they holiday in Tuscany. While on their holiday, they make friends with a Dutch family, Patrick, Karen, and their weird son Abel. Patrick and Karen invite the couple to stay at their rural house for the weekend. Even though they've only just met, Bjorn feels like it would be rude to decline the offer, so he accepts begrudgingly. And as it turns out, Patrick and Karen are infuriatingly bad hosts. And what we get in this film is a great lesson on why boundaries are important. Basically, that's the crux of this film. Enjoyment's probably not the right word for this movie, right? Like, it is a really good movie, but you don't enjoy this movie. It was a fucking mistake to watch this to start off my week too. Like, I'm going to be walking into all my work meetings or like fucking head down, moseying along. I can just picture my coworkers now. Jake, what's up? You seem off. I'm not okay. I'm a fucking idiot and I make bad choices and I made myself watch this disturbing fucking film on a Sunday night before work and now I'm just getting the big sads. And I do it to myself. Like I could stop this at any point. I could stop watching, but this is my life now. This is my life now. This movie made my anxiety go through the fucking roof, and it made my serotonin fucking plummet. From the moment the first scene happens, there's this swell in the score that turns into like really ominous. I'm talking like Jaws level ominous music, and nothing's happening on screen. Like it's just a family driving down a road. And as soon as that happened, I knew I was in fucking danger. Like, this movie, it's unsettling. The pain that I felt every time a boundary cross would happen made me squirm so fucking bad. And the reason this works so well is because most of the stuff that happens, isn't really that, it's not that, like, it's not awful. Like, there's no assaults or anything that just happens out of the blue. Like, it's really slight stuff. It gaslights you to a point where you don't know if you're being the asshole or they're being the asshole. There's some stuff that is so slight it's barely perceptible, and you could write it up to cultural or language differences, to be honest. But what it does is every time something like that happens, it adds a feather to the scale. So for everyone that watches this film, there will be a tipping point where you would think, I would leave there. And, you know, as you go, it just keeps getting added and added. A feather just keeps getting added and added to the scale till it eventually tips. Everyone's tipping point is going to be different. You know, there'll be points where some people watch this and go, oh, I would have fucking left right there. But it's different for everyone. And I think because of that, this movie works really well. I think you could also only do this movie with Scandinavians. Their culture of politeness tends to lend itself to getting accidentally walked on, and the writer-director Christian Tabdrup has a lot to say on that subject. If you'd done this movie with an Aussie or an American, this movie would have been about 3 minutes long and ended with "get fucked." Like that's it. So I think this only works for this couple, for this culture, in fact. Once the action gets going, this movie gets really disturbing really fucking quickly. The ending, and the main problem I have with this movie is the ending was okay, but I did struggle a little bit because the inactivity of some of the characters, for me, borderlines on unrealistic. And that led me to not caring about the characters as much as I probably should have. Guys, God helps those who help themselves. Haven't you read the Bible? I mean, and to be fair, that is a terrible thing to hear from a spiritual guardian, but it really hits the nail on this head for this movie. And they weren't helping themselves in a lot of the scenes in this. That being said, watch this film for the build-up, because the build-up is done masterfully. It's really well done. The conversations are really tense. It is, like this movie's basically about what if you stayed at someone's house and you had a huge fight on the first night and then had to stay for another couple of days. It's that feeling. I would recommend watching this if you love dinner party horror. The Invitation, Ready or Not, Perfect Host. This fits in well with all of those. If you're the type of person who makes friends with everyone when you go on holiday, watch this movie. Let this be a lesson to you. If you spend a lot of time reading Am I the Asshole on Reddit, this movie is all about that. This could be a movie based on that Reddit thread. I don't recommend watching this if you hate slow burns, you don't like movies that give you anxiety. Life is anxiety inducing enough, I understand. This movie will fucking redline you. If you struggle with any horror where kids can be in danger, or it's a possibility, stay away from this movie. There are 2 kids in this, and everything's on the table. But if you do want to join a bad feelings fiesta, chuck this on and just clench your entire body for about an hour and a half, because that's what I did. It's disturbing, it's paranoia-inducing, but it is the season to do that. So, as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for another review. Peace.